So you're starting a business in the Sunshine State? Awesome! Then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to walk through step by step exactly how to register a Florida DBA, or as the state officially calls it, a fictitious name. Okay, let's imagine your name is Jane Smith, right? And you've got this amazing idea for a bakery called Sunshine Sweetery. Well, you can't just start taking payments under that name. The state needs to officially connect Sunshine Sweetery back to the real person, Jane Smith, and that is precisely what a DBA does. Now, while the official term is fictitious name, you're almost always going to hear it called a DBA, which just stands for doing business as. Honestly, you should just think of it as a public alias or a nickname for your business. It lets you or your company operate under a much cooler, more memorable brand name. Here's our game plan. We'll cover what a DBA actually is, how to search for and register your name, then we'll get into the follow-up steps, like publishing it and getting an EIN, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with the details on banking, renewals, and, of course, the costs. So, who really needs a DBA? Well, if you're a sole proprietor using a business name that isn't your own legal name, you have to register one. It also applies to existing companies. For instance, if Smith Enterprises LLC wants to open up a cafe called The Daily Grind, they're going to need a DBA for that new brand. Okay, this is a really crucial point, and it's a super common misunderstanding. A DBA is just a name. It is not a legal entity. It offers zero, and I mean zero, liability protection like an LLC would. All the legal and financial responsibility still rests completely with you or your parent company. All right, let's get into the action, making your business name official. This is where we dive into the practical steps to get your name recognized by the state of Florida. You know, the process really just boils down to two key steps. First, you've got to do a search to make sure the name you want is actually available. Second, you file the official registration paperwork with the Florida Division of Corporations. Simple as that. Before you get too attached to a name, you need to head over to Sunbiz, which is the state's official website. You'll search their database to make sure your name isn't identical or what they call deceptively similar to one that's already out there. And one more key point, registering a DBA does not give you trademark rights. That's a whole separate process for protecting your brand. The main fee you're going to pay directly to the state to get this all done is $50. It's just a flat fee to process your application and get your name officially on the books. To make filing a total breeze, you'll want to gather this info beforehand. The name you want to register, your business address and county, the names and addresses of all the owners, and your federal employer identification number, or EIN if you happen to have one already. Trust me on this, filing online through Sunbiz is absolutely the way to go. Your registration will get processed in just a few business days. Now, compare that to mailing it in, where you could be waiting 3 to 4 weeks. For most people, the speed and convenience of filing online is a clear winner. Okay, once your registration is approved, you're not quite done. There are 2 important follow-up steps you have to take before you're fully compliant and ready to go. So, Florida has this unique requirement. You have to advertise your new fictitious name. Yeah, by law, you have to publish it once in a newspaper that's in your business's county. You can think of it as a public announcement. Expect this to cost you somewhere between $30 and $60. Next up is the EIN, or Employer Identification Number. So, do you need one? Well, if you plan to hire employees, it's a must. Most banks also require it for a business account. But even if it's not strictly required for you, it's highly recommended for keeping your finances separate. And the best part, getting one from the IRS is completely free. So with the legal steps handled, it's time to put your new business name to use. This section covers all the practical stuff, from opening a bank account to making sure your registration stays active. When you go to the bank to open your business account, make sure you have these documents ready to go. Your official registration certificate from Sunbiz, proof that you ran that newspaper ad, your EIN confirmation letter from the IRS, and of course, your personal photo ID. Your DBA registration isn't permanent, just so you know. It's valid for 5 years and it always expires on December 31st of the 5th year. So you'll want to mark your calendar because you'll need to pay a $50 renewal fee to keep it. If you let it lapse, that name goes right back into the public pool for someone else to register. Okay, let's wrap this all up by looking at the bottom line. We'll summarize the costs and go over the final steps you need to remember to keep your business on the right track. So, Here's the final cost breakdown. You've got the $50 registration fee plus that newspaper ad, which is going to run you between 30 and 60 bucks. The EIN is free, which is great. And then just don't forget about that recurring $50 renewal every 5 years. That means you're looking at about $80 to $110 just to get started. Now, if navigating the Sunbiz search and figuring out the newspaper requirements sounds like a bit of a hassle, you don't have to handle it all by yourself. Services like rocketregistry.com can actually manage the entire filing process for you, making sure everything is done quickly and, more importantly, correctly. So once the forms are filed and the fees are paid, that's when the real journey begins. The paperwork is just the foundation. The crucial question to ask yourself now is, with your name all secured, what's your plan to build a brand that people in Florida are going to know and love?